Mhm. Hi, everyone. I'm Tal Heinrich, spokesperson for the Israeli Prime Minister's office. Last night, Hamas released a short video showing Mia Shem, a young 21-year-old Israeli French woman that Hamas abducted to Gaza on October 7th. This is pure psychological terror. Hamas will probably release several more videos of this kind. These videos are released to try and torment the people of Israel and the families of the abducted. As a reminder, Hamas is currently still holding 199 Israelis in Gaza, many of them held in appalling conditions. Hamas committed war crimes by kidnapping civilians from their homes, and we hold them fully responsible for the well-being of our people. We are deploying all intelligence and operational measures for the return of all hostages, including Mia. And we urge the international community to demand the immediate and unconditional release of innocent civilians held in Gaza. I will now share some updated numbers from the war. You'll see it in a slide in a moment. Israel's war on Hamas is in response to the inconceivable barbarism of the October 7th massacre. What Hamas perpetrated against Jews shattered all norms of basic humanity. Entire families were burnt alive in the most deadly single-day attack on Jews since the Holocaust. No country would tolerate such evil on its doorstep. I would like to extend my condolences to the families of the victims of last night's terror attack in Brussels. Our hearts are with the victims, their families, and the people of Sweden and Belgium. Such ISIS-inspired terror affects all of us, and its perpetrators must be annihilated. Israel continues to target Hamas infrastructure, commanders, and operatives. Those who participated in the October 7th massacre will have no rest. We will show them no mercy until they are eliminated. Overnight, the IDF successfully targeted Osama Mazzini, the head of the Shura Council of Hamas in the Gaza Strip. Mazzini directed significant terrorist activities against Israel. Now, earlier this morning, the IDF successfully targeted 4 terrorists who attempted to infiltrate into the north of Israel via Lebanon. We are disturbed by Hamas's efforts to deliberately aggravate the humanitarian situation in Gaza as part of a ploy to attract international sympathy. Yesterday, following careful and calculated coordination involving multiple organizations and nations, foreign civilians in Gaza were supposed to leave the Strip via the Rafah border crossing. Hamas prevented this, thus cynically using foreign nationals as hostages. We also saw the United Nations agency, UNRWA, admit that Hamas had stolen fuel and medicine from its stocks in Gaza City. Naturally, Israel wants to see humanitarian aid reach civilians in Gaza. But the international community is entitled to safeguards that this will not be repurposed by Hamas for its terror machine. Unfortunately, the main victims of Hamas's actions are the innocent civilians in Gaza who will not have access to these critical supplies. Israel continues our appeal for citizens in Gaza to temporarily evacuate the northern Gaza Strip to safer zones where humanitarian aid will be provided. Hamas bears responsibility for civilian casualties due to its violent efforts to prevent the population from moving south, including by setting up roadblocks. Finally, Israel welcomes the extraordinary and unwavering commitment of U.S. President Joe Biden, his administration, the U.S. Congress, and the American people to stand in solidarity with Israel. We look forward to hosting the president here and his team at this critical moment for Israel, the region, and the world. Israel's national security advisor, Tzachi Hanegbi, just held about a few minutes ago a press conference right here. It was in Hebrew. And in it, he described President Biden's upcoming trip to Israel as, that's a quote, a loving embrace of every Israeli family whose life was destroyed, for every soldier at the Gaza border, for every Israeli Jew and anywhere in the world. Hanegbi also noted that Prime Minister Netanyahu has spoken to over 20 leaders in the world since the October 7th massacre. Over 20 leaders. We also want to extend our appreciation to other world leaders who are standing by Israel with unprecedented levels of support. Some of them are doing it from Israel, including Romania's Prime Minister and also the German Chancellor, who both of whom have met with the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu today. Here is another side note. There are 1,426 journalists on the ground in Israel right now covering the October 7th massacre and the war on Hamas. Going forward, in addition to this briefing, the Prime Minister's office press desk will provide other briefings related to specific topics of interest. We will provide more information as we move ahead. And that concludes our daily briefing. Thank you. If you have any questions, please raise your hands. Please type it in the chat box, and we will try to address your questions. I don't know if I can hear. David Isaac, I can see you're raising your hand. I'm not sure if let's see. Can you unmute?
Hear me now?
Oh, yes, David, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so thank you for taking my question. So I saw Tzachi Hanegbi today said that the return of the hostages would be a key component to any humanitarian aid going to the Gazans, but he didn't provide details on what that meant exactly. And Minister of Energy and Water, Israel Katz, tweeted on October 12th that no electricity, water, or fuel will go to Gaza until the kidnapped hostages are returned. What I want to know is that the policy? Did the War Cabinet tell Blinken that any humanitarian aid is conditioned on the return of the hostages, as Katz said? What is the policy?
So I cannot expand further than what Tzachi Hanegbi just said. These are two things that Israel wants to see. First, that the hostages and the ones who were abducted, our sons and daughters, will return to Israel, and we're calling on Hamas to unconditionally, obviously, release them. We hope that the international community will join our demand that they do so, because there are foreign nationals there or dual citizenship holders. What I can tell you is that players involved were tried to coordinate that the Rafah, I think Hanegbi also mentioned it, that the Rafah crossing will open for foreign nationals, but Hamas yesterday was blocking their way, so they could not get out. I think Hanegbi mentioned it as well in Hebrew in his press briefing. So that is one thing. But of course, bringing back our sons and daughters, it's a top priority. We also want humanitarian aid to reach the people in Gaza. But as UNRWA admitted just yesterday, there were fuels and medicines that were supposed to get to the people in Gaza. It was in Gaza City, but suddenly trucks with people who purported to be part of the Palestinian health ministry stole some of these stockpiles of medicine and petrol. So that is what happened. And Israel wants to make sure that once humanitarian aid comes in, it will reach the right places and not be repurposed and turn to, part of the Hamas war machine. Let's take another question. Amit from AFP. No, I cannot confirm anything regarding the identity of the ones who have been abducted by Hamas. All we can say is that the IDF notified 199 families that their loved ones are being held captive in Gaza right now. Also, please note that I am aware that there are different numbers coming out of Gaza, but we should take all the numbers coming out of Gaza just as a rule of thumb with a grain of salt, because Gaza is under Hamas's control. It's, in a sense, it's like North Korea. Even if you talk to a doctor or people on the ground there, or you interview Gazans, they cannot freely speak what they want to say. They all have to be aligned with Hamas's message. So you should be very, very cautious with numbers also regarding what they're saying about the hostages. Who asked this question about the numbers? Anna? So we got your question, but we will try to have updated and confirmed numbers for tomorrow, as that address your question as part of the daily slide that we show. We don't have any confirmed numbers. Yes, David. Wait, let's unmute him.
Yes, what is the American role in Israeli decision-making / timing of the Gaza ground offensive?
Well, I cannot share anything that relates to military strategy, operational strategy moving ahead. But if you heard what Tzachi Hanegbi just said, Secretary Blinken was sitting with the war cabinet until 3 a.m. Israel time yesterday. I'm not sure exactly how many hours this was, but it was a significant amount of hours. That's all I can say. Strategically, cannot share anything right now. But Blinken did sit with the war cabinet until 3 a.m., according to Tzachi Hanegbi. All right, thank you so much. We will address some of your questions again tomorrow and try to circle back with the ones that the numbers that we don't have confirmed for you. Thank you.